Before we get started with the review, I'd like to note that there are several content warnings for this game. This game features suicide, hanging, nooses, glitching, mild flashing, gore, jump scares, blood, self-harm, cutting, abuse, and suggestive sexual themes. If you or someone you know are experiencing a mental health crisis, please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255. Doki Doki Literature Club Plus is everything that you loved about Doki Doki Literature Club with a couple of extras that are added in. There is a new in-game OS system that becomes evident for good reasons later on in the game. It is very difficult to talk about this game without spoilers, so please note that going forward, this is your one and only spoiler warning. I am spoiling the game. Here we go. So, Doki Doki Literature Club, on its surface, looks like a cute little visual novel where you are going in and you're finding a cute girl to date, and you get to know each of them a little bit, and eventually you pick one that you're kind of into, she confesses her love to you, and you're really gonna make this work, and then it all goes to crap. So it is actually a horror game hidden within a cutesy visual novel. The main game is about 8 hours long. If you've played it before, there's a lot of dialogue that you can skip. There is a skipping feature for certain parts of the game that will make sense later on. And there is an auto feature so that you don't have to constantly click enter to go forward. It reads a little slow for me, but I am also an extremely fast reader. There are several side stories that are unlocked in the game as part of the plus part of the game that are unlocked as you progress with each girl. So there's the unlock with that. There's a cool picture gallery that shows you the different pictures that you unlock, your poems, your secrets, all of that. There's some art for the game design sketches, which I thought was kind of cool. And there's a music library as well. So you can listen to all the music in the game in the music library. I personally, and I know I'm gonna catch some flack for this, I did not like this game. I have to fully admit, I don't think that it is a game that aged well with what we know about mental illness. Themes when it comes to that are very outdated and particularly, honestly, kind of offensive for people who suffer from depression, self-harm, abuse. It was a little cringy to get through it. The writing feels really elementary to me. It was repetitive. Each of the girls had the standard anime kind of personality. So you have the kawaii girl, you've got the dark and brooding reader, you have the overachieving club president, and then you have the cheerful best friend that's secretly in love with you. There really wasn't much to any of the characters. The horror in the game wasn't any type of horror that I actually enjoy. I am not a big fan of weird pictures coming up on there. The glitching was a little bit cool. I kind of like the glitching. That was kind of interesting. And I feel like they could have done this really, really well if they had kind of changed some things within the game. Number one, to update how they treat mental illness and the things that are said between the girls. And also to make it so much less repetitive. There is a part of the game where you start the game over. And that whole first sequence for almost a good portion of that a quote-unquote episode is the same dialogue from the other one. So it felt like really tedious to go through that. And it happened almost too much. There was quite a bit in the game that you've already experienced. So as you're kind of in this Groundhog Day-esque kind of day, you've already experienced all of this. So then it just lasts too long without any new dialogue at all. I found the poem system to be really confusing. You never read your own poem, you just read the girls' poems. and I would have liked to see what I was writing. I know that you're just picking words that make sense and that whichever girl you're interested in would go and like, so I understand that part of it. There's a lot of parts of the game where you have to save scum, but unfortunately, if you aren't somebody who knows that, you almost have to have a guide to know how to play the game more than once. It does give you the option to do that. You don't have to re-download the game like in the original one. The in-game OS system will take care of the deleting of anything that needs to get deleted or resetting. And there's different ways to play the game. So it's definitely a good game for people who liked the original, people who enjoyed that story and felt that it was a really amazing horror game to them. It really just wasn't a game that I enjoyed. I would have liked to see it a little darker without going into so many cliches about mental illness. That really just rubbed me the wrong way. But that being said, solid game if you played the first one. You want to get the side stories. They give you a lot of background on the characters, and I thought that was cool. I liked that part more than I liked the game, to be completely honest. So give it a try if this is your kind of thing. If you liked the original, definitely grab it. But again, be aware of the content warnings. They do include in the game the ability to have the content warnings pop up so that you're not surprised when it comes into the next scene. So I did appreciate that they did that. So if this is your kind of game, definitely give it a try. Other than that, I will see you in the next video.
As always, I want to thank everybody for watching, but I also want to give a special shout out to our indie warriors. Mitchell Hall, Kevelo, Bunny, Bill Tikaz, Christian Cruz, Strychnine, Rosie Syntax, Chris Jackson, Nathan Moore, Peach, Adriana Amato, CJR, Jesse, Falco Lombardi, C. Coyle, Skeptism, Jen Rose, and Julian Kolbis. Thank you again, as always, for all the love and support that you've given I Dream of Indie. We couldn't do this without you. There are so many different ways that you can help and support I Dream of Indie, so feel free to check out all the cool little links that we have. Thank you again, as always, for watching, and until next time, enjoy gaming.